Hey everybody, welcome to Badge Banter, where we feature some incredible stories about the security industry and in particular the use of the ID badge and how it benefits organizations. Today I am super excited about our guest. I've got Lisa Sobek from Allegiant joining us. Lisa, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Lizzie, for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I always love an opportunity to talk to Lisa. I actually met Lisa last year as part of SIA's Time Mentorship Program. And so if you're not involved in SIA in the Time program, highly recommend it. You get to make awesome friends like me and Lisa. But before we dive in today, Lisa, can you just do us a favor? Tell us a little bit about yourself and about your role at Allegiant.
Yeah, I'd love to. So, been with the Legion almost 3 years, so relatively newbie to the security industry. I sit in our field marketing team, and I am a senior channel marketing manager, and I lead the marketing strategies for a few of our verticals, including higher ed, data centers, and then our PACS and integration strategies.
Awesome. Well, I love a good marketing guest. I've actually had a few this year now that I think about it. It's probably just because I love marketing. But we'll touch on a little bit of marketing stuff, but we'll also talk about the security industry as a whole. So it'll be fun today. So when I think about the security industry, Allegiant is always one of those names that you hear a lot. I mean, y'all are a big player, and obviously with a very strong legacy in the security industry and access control specifically. So from your perspective, I know you're kind of on the channel side now for marketing, but involved in end user a little bit. How have end user needs, do you think, evolved in recent years? And how is Allegiant adapting to kind of meet those changes?
Yeah, so from my perspective, marketing perspective, what I'm seeing is an increase in adoption of cloud-based access control. So when you think about, and a growing need among end users. And so when you think about the way access control systems integrate today, they're integrating with more and more systems, and it's changing how access control is adopted, how it's deployed, how it's managed. And so I would say definitely cloud-based access control. And I think too, choosing best-in-class solutions and best-in-class access control is what end users are striving for.
And you know, it's interesting that you say that because obviously you're coming at it from an access control perspective, but I think that the term cloud it's almost like inferred that you will accomplish cloud, like that you have a solution for cloud, because now customers just kind of expect it, as opposed to 10 years ago, you had to explain the benefits of cloud. And now it's just like, well, what is your cloud application?
Yeah, agreed. Everything is done in the cloud today. I mean, if you think about different industries, it's just everything is kind of cloud-based these days. So it makes sense that security industry has evolved that way too.
Yeah. Oh, no, for sure. So there's definitely a lot of players in the security industry. I would say the marketplace is a little crowded sometimes, and there's new ones popping up every day. But what do you think really sets Allegiant apart, and how do you communicate your differentiation effectively?
So, okay, this is going to sound very marketing, but I mean, it's just undeniable. So when you think about Allegiant and our brands, right? The legacy, the longevity of our brands, Schlick, LCN, Von Duprin, Krieger, undeniable, the security that those brands deliver is, very strong in this industry. But what I would say, what also separates Allegiant apart from other companies, and I've worked for a lot of companies, I will say the way we go to market. I've not worked for a company in another industry that goes to market the way Allegiant does, very customer focused, very end user centric. And so I would say that is definitely something that kind of sets us apart, in this industry and in this space. In a
I love
crowded space.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love a customer first approach. And I mean, you're talking about go to market, which I think translates well to your marketing strategies. So how do you approach, I mean, security can seem very complex. So if I'm a non-technical user, a non-technical decision maker, the security industry can sometimes seem overwhelming. And honestly, sometimes I think marketing is boring in the security industry and doesn't do a good job of not making it technical. So when you think about marketing and trying to market really what is a relatively complex solution, how do you make it simple and compelling for your non-technical decision makers?
Yeah, and you know what I would say to that, being new to this industry, it is understatement on how complex and technical this industry is. I mean, truly, when I think about when I first joined the industry and joined Allegiant, I didn't have a clue that security and, this industry could be as complex. And what I would say is the approach that I take. I do think that I have a unique perspective being a relatively newcomer to the industry. I do believe that it gives me a unique ability to create marketing and create content that resonates with decision makers who maybe not as technical. I'm not as technical yet, who's not as technical, who's not in the weeds. And I think that gives me a unique ability to create messaging, to create content. I'm not going to give away all of my secrets, but I will say that the approach that I take is, regardless of the audience, regardless of the persona, I want to create messaging that's clear, concise, and easy to understand, because I know how frustrating it could be even for myself, kind of learning things in this industry. And so I want to make sure my messaging is easy to understand. And so I feel like I can create messaging that resonates with some decision makers that maybe aren't as technical.
I love that. I actually think that's true. I think that coming at it from a new perspective, like, gives you the ability to say, well, why don't we just talk about it like this? Or my brain processes it like this. And wouldn't other people who maybe aren't in the industry think of it that way too? And so I think that the longer you're in it, the easier it is to see people like transition to security industry talk. But when you can just keep it simple for people, I mean, I always talk to our marketing team. There's a lot of CEOs in the security industry that came from the technical side. I did not, as you know. I came from sales and marketing. And so I still lead with like a marketing mindset a lot. And I constantly tell our team, I'm like, if we're not telling a story, then we're not marketing our product well. Like, it needs to resonate with people who literally don't understand anything about what we do. So I love that.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. So let's switch gears a little bit, because we're on badge banter. So we have to talk about badges, right?
Do it.
And obviously, Allegiant has a role, clearly, as a card manufacturer and having a stance on mobile credentials. And so, where do ID badges and smart cards fit into Allegiant's long-term strategy, particularly at a time when we're constantly talking about mobile credentials in the future?
Yes, I did not think I was gonna not get a question about badges from you, Lindsay. So, so what I will say is mobile credentials is all the rave, and rightfully so. But what I will say is that, physical credentials is still a critical and important part of our portfolio. When you think about higher ed, for example, 50 to 60% of campuses are still handing out mechanical keys, physical keys for student room access, right? And so, although, mobile and physical credentials are two options that campuses can leverage to meet their short and long-term goals, if you think about it, mobile is growing, but it's only 15% adoption rate. So credentials still have the lion's share of the market. Campuses that are, have moved to mobile, they still, in many cases, still need badges. When you think about programming, summer camps and conferences and things of that nature. And so I will say, physical badges is still an important part of Allegiant's portfolio. And we understand that there's still a lot of adoption, needing to be had around mobile, and, budget and so many other hurdles or reasons or barriers to adoption. And so physical credentials, badges in particular, will be around for a long time.
Oh yeah. Hit me with that stat you just shared about physical keys, because I am dying inside. This is like how colleges are they blow my mind, because there's such a huge spectrum of technology in colleges and universities, because you literally still have campuses on magstripe technology, if they are using cards, all the way to, mobile credentials, Desfire, very advanced technologies. And then you've got physical keys.
50 to 60% of campuses in the U.S. still have keys. My kiddo is heading to college in 3 weeks. He will have a key.
Stop.
He will have a key to get into his room.
That's wild.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, think about what an improvement a badge would be there. Like, even if
What you say?
I said, think about what an improvement a badge would be there. I mean, take mobile
Yeah,
payments out of the equation. You've got to build just a card first to get in the door. That's
yeah,
crazy.
for
Um,
sure.
but yeah, I think we got a long road ahead before.
Yeah,
And I even then, I'm pretty vocal about. I always think that they work together as opposed to like, compete
for
with one
sure.
another. And there's a place for both. And quite frankly, a lot of times both will be used in the same places for different use
Hmm.
cases. To your point, so love that.
Agreed.
Well, as a security industry outsider, what inspired you to start a career in the security industry? And like, why, now that you're in it, what keeps you excited about it?
Yeah, I've been asked that question a couple times, and when I think about it, so originally, I really truly thought I stumbled, into this industry. It was happenstance, and granted, I hadn't heard of Allegiant and didn't know, even when I think about some of the industries I've come from, and just even thinking back to higher ed, our earlier example, I never knew behind that badge what all went into that. And so I was introduced to this whole new world, just almost 3 years ago. And when I think about my career journey, I've worked in nonprofit, which seems like a lifetime ago. I've worked in healthcare for the bulk of my career. I worked in higher ed. All of those industries and all the roles that I've had were in marketing, but they were all purpose driven. And so I feel like, although I didn't know much about the space, I didn't know much about Allegiant, what drew me here, I think just knowing that the purpose behind what industry experts do day in and day out, protecting people and places, that's rewarding. And I feel like that is so fulfilling and is just in alignment with what I've done throughout my 25-year career is worked in purpose-driven industries and fields. And it's no different in the security industry.
I love that. I think that once you come in here, though, you stay.
I heard that. I continue to hear that.
It sucks
Yeah.
you in. You can't get out. I was adamant I would never work in the security industry because this is the industry.
Really?
Yeah, my mom worked in this industry, and I was like, no, no, I'm gonna do my own thing. And then I ended up interviewing at Badge Pass after I graduated from college and moving to Mississippi, and now here we are. I'm still here, so it sucks you
Yeah.
in, Lisa.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's so many great people here too in the industry. We get to meet people like you, Lindsay, who's been just a tremendous support for me, personally. Like I said, just been new to this industry. It can be overwhelming, intimidating, so much to learn, and it's just been really great learning from you. And it's just a lot of good people here, so I see why people stay in the industry.
Good. Well, we're going to keep you. So, all right. If you could give one piece of advice to someone who's entering the industry for the first time, as a relative newbie, I mean, 3 years, I think you're getting not to be a newbie anymore,
I
but
don't know about that. I don't know about that, Lindsay.
what advice would you give them?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, welcome, come, young professionals, women, join this great industry. But what I would also say is that you don't have to be in this industry for decades to make an impact. And what I've learned over the duration of my career is know your strengths, lead with those strengths, build a network, have mentors like Lindsay, like you, right? And get involved. And so you mentioned it earlier at the top of the call is, SIA and a Women in Security Forum has been a terrific resource for me personally. And I sit on two subcommittees and I've just learned so much. I've met a lot of people. I've gotten mentorship. And so that would be my advice to any young professional women who want to join this industry. You don't have to be an expert. There's strengths that you can lead with, share those creative ideas, those perspectives that you've garnered, over your career and come join this industry.
I love that. That echoes so much advice that I give because I constantly am like, you're actually better off not necessarily having all of the same insights as everybody that's been in the industry for a long time. Like having a fresh perspective is so valuable to any organization of any size. And so I think that if you're coming in, like just embrace it and know that you're bringing something to the table or
Yeah.
you're going to be here.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I love chatting with you, and we could probably chat all day, but we unfortunately can't as we have to get back to our real jobs.
Right.
But I do love to end every segment with a session called Badge Blitz. And so the way this works is I've got a timer and it's old school. So we will just start the timer for a minute. So you get 60 seconds and I'm just going to hit you with some rapid fire questions. These are fun. So these are not like you didn't have to prep for these. No worries.
Okay.
All right. Just go with your gut. Quick answers.
Okay. Yes.
All right. If you didn't work in the security industry, what would you be doing?
Ooh, if I didn't work in the security industry, I would probably still be in healthcare, honestly. I really enjoyed working in healthcare. I worked in point of care marketing as a product marketing manager for over 10 years. And so I would probably go back to healthcare industry.
If you, let's see, what brand or product outside of the security industry, not in the industry, do you admire for its marketing or branding?
Ooh, and I want to be unique here because I know, everybody says Apple and things like that. Let me think. Ooh, I know I'm running out of time. I absolutely love, and I have for years, Target's marketing. I'm a big Target shopper. I absolutely love their marketing. You can tell their marketing anywhere, even, if you don't see the Target logo, it's Target. Their message is fresh, it's clean.
Yeah, you just have a lot to say, Lisa. We didn't get through many questions with you. You know what mine would be, though? My brand? You probably are going to know this as soon as I say it. 100% Savannah Bananas. Literally greatest branding and marketing strategy of all time.
Yeah.
Obsessed. All right, I'm going to ask you one last question.
The world knows that, Lindsay.
Everyone in the world knows that, yes. If you're on LinkedIn, you know. And I've still never been to a game. It's very depressing. But I have one last question. We're going to wrap Badge Blitz, even though we're over time. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, superpower. Go back in time. I would love to go back in time. I would love to revisit and have some more time with my grandparents and my parents. And so, yeah, I would go back in time.
I love that. That's a great answer. Well, this was super fun. Thank you so much for joining me, Lisa. I loved your insights into the industry, into marketing, into being new to the security industry. You just give such a great, fresh perspective, and it's always super fun to catch up with you, and I absolutely loved it. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Lindsay. It's been a joy. Thank you.
It's been so much fun. And so to everybody else, we hope you'll join us next time as we take you beyond the badge.